Hello, my name is Mohammad Raza Hussain. My student ID is 230347112. I'm leading the group. We have 4 members. I'm doing the presentation of independent applied research in management. Our topic is Boeing Aerospace causes, impact and solution. In this topic we have different slides which we can be explained. The Boeing market peak before the crisis, objective, Boeing problem due to accidents, Boeing market position, pestle analysis, SWOT analysis, data analysis, and overview of Boeing problems. And at the end, we have conclusion, recommendation, and we have some of these references. In Boeing problem, we have the aerospace company known for producing commercial airplanes like the 737, 777, as well as military aircraft such as the F-15 and Apache helicopter. It play a critical role in US economy and global aviation. My next slide is Boeing market peak before the crisis. In the Boeing market peak before the crisis is military aircraft such as the F-15, but it play a critical role in the US economy and contributing over 61 billion revenue in 2020 year alone. However, recent years have been turbulent in the aircraft 2018 and 2019. It killing a combination of 346 people marked the beginning of steep decline. The aircraft was globally 21 causes losses exceeding 20 billion. My next slide is objective. In Boeing, objective causes a issue or wide range, but behind one product failure. The 737 crests the max of iceberg, but we will evaluate the operational safety and financial failure that have compounded over time. Focus on understanding how systematic, including safety lapses, supply chain breakdowns, and poor leadership decision. My next slide is Boeing failure due to accidents. Boeing failure due to accidents by the headquarters in Arlington and Virginia. We have two headquarters in the both aerospace company known for the commercial airplane, the same name like 737, 777 and 787 is a military aircraft. But in this settlement and order cancellation, production problem have continued in the 2024 year and 2025. But we report the faulty bolts and manufacturing these things in the same years by investigation by FAAA. As a result, Boeing has faced delivery delays. My next slide is Boeing market position. In the Boeing market position, we have a duply the commercial aircraft and 90% global market share. This competition, these two companies is not just about the product. It offered to the market strategies and it offered to the government contract and alliance with the great global airlines. Despite recent key player in the sector along Airbus, in the Boeing market position, we provide by the chart. In the chart, we have a competitor, Boeing, Airbus. We provide by industry revenue and we have number of employees. These two companies is not just a companies. It provide a product offering also a big market in strategies and it perform a contract and alliance with global airlines. Despite recent setbacks in the players in the setback along Airbus, competitors include the Lockheed Martin, BAE Systems, and different companies in Russia and China with the name of Boeing and commercial aircrafts. The next slide is pestle analysis is performed by Kiran Kaur. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. My name is Kiran Kaur. in this slide, we are talking about the six external factor which impact the Boeing company. First is political. Government body like FAA, EASA, it increased the geopolitical tension after the 737 MAX crisis. We are talking about the economy, global economic and condition and the supply chain disruption. It's happened after the COVID-19, and it also delayed the supply chain, and it also fluctuation in the material cost. Now we're talking about the social. After the 737 Max crisis, it damaged the reputation of the company, and it's very important to rebuild the trust and address the labor issue again. Now we're talking about the technical. Aerospace innovation and the cybersecurity concern, company need to be innovate and ensure the cybersecurity in the wake of the previous crisis. Legal. After this crisis, company faced the numerous of lawsuit and the legal battle, including the lawsuit in the crash victim, affect the finance and the reputation of the company. Environmental pressure of the sustainability. Company need to be focused on the developing the eco-friendly technology with compile the strict carbon emission regulation. In our next slide, we are talking about the SWOT. Boeing Company is a globally recognized brand, and it has a strong position in the market. It also in the technological leadership in the aircraft manufacturing despite the 737 MAX crisis. And the weakness after the 737 MAX crisis, it and associate the reputational damage is totally dependence on the limited range of the aircraft model, and it also disturbs the supply chain and the production delay. But it also comes with the opportunity. Boeing has the opportunity to lead the way in the sustainable aircraft developed and the capitalize on the green technology. And it also comes with the threat is the Boeing face the high numbers of the competition in the market from the Airbus in the first and especially the A320 and A35. It also increase the trade tension, and the economic crisis can limit the Boeing market access and the sale. In the next slide, we are talking about the five force. Number one, threat of the new entrant is the high capital investment, and it also need the R&D cost over the 10 million. Number two, threat of the substitute is no direct substitute for the long distance commercial aircraft, and it also Boeing and the Airbus are constant competition from the market domains. And the major airline demand customization, reliability, and the post-sale support. Buyer can shift to the Airbus, especially post 737 MAX crisis. Example, Fender cancel Boeing order for after the 737 crisis. In the next slide, we are talking about the overview of the Boeing problem. After the 737 MAX crisis, Boeing faced the financial as well as the reputational problem. Financial, the grounded of the aircraft create a financial load that exceed the billion of dollar in a revenue. The company faced the additional financial stress from pending legal settlement, and faced the numerous of lawsuit pending against them after this crisis. In the next slide, we are talking about the reputational. After this crisis, they lost the trust among the airlines, regulator, and their passenger, and the brand reputation suffered due to the negative media attention and the negative public opinion. In the next slide, we are talking about the stakeholder analysis in the employee job cut and the low moral due to the ongoing crisis is facing the pressure to address the safety, financial, and the production issue. Is experience the financial loss, trust in the Boeing ability to recover the long term. In the next slide, we are my new team member talking about the quality, safety, and the control impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiran. My name is Muhammad Rizwan, and I'm going to explain safety, quality, control, impact. Boeing's safety reputation took a major hit following the 737 MAX crashes caused by faulty MCAS software. These tragedies exposed critical flaws in the company's internal oversight, with the FAA identifying major gaps in Boeing's safety audits and quality control processes even after pledging safety reforms. Ongoing issues like loose bolts and structural defects have kept public confidence low. Next slide is financial impact. In this slide, the impact has been devastating. Boeing has incurred billions in losses from legal settlements, grounded aircraft, and cancelled orders. Investor trust is shaken, reflected in failing stock prices. Meanwhile, cuts to R&D have stalled innovation, risking Boeing's future competitiveness in this across sector. And the next slide is supply chain disruptions. In this slide, Boeing's supply chain disruptions have been a major contributor to its operational failures. The company became heavily reliant on key external suppliers like Spirit Aerosystems, limiting flexibility. COVID-19 further exposed weakness, causing part shortage, labor issues, and shipping delays, inconsistent quality control across supplier, and a lack of real-time inventory coordination disrupted production efficiency and delivery timelines. And leadership failures worsened these issues. Boeing's culture prioritized speed and cost cutting over safety, leading to overlooked internal warnings. Executive failed to act on critical safety reports, and during crisis communication was vague and delayed, and a lack of transparency with regulators further eroded public and industry trust. And my next slide is regulatory and reputational challenges. In this slide, Boeing is now under intense regulatory scrutiny from the FAA and global aviation bodies due to previous lapses in safety protocols. As a result, the company must enhance its internal compliance systems, ethical practices, and training program to meet the new standards. These changes are not just procedural, they are essential to avoid further legal consequences, including ongoing criminal investigation. On the reputational side, Boeing's brand has suffered dramatically, once known for safety and innovation. It's now associated with crisis and controversy. This has led to a slowdown in new orders from airlines and difficulty in attracting a top tier talent, particularly in engineering and R&D roles. Rebuilding credibility will take time and representing action. And my next slide is industry comparison. In this slide, we compare Boeing with two of its major competitors, Airbus and Lockheed Martin, to understand how they manage risk and uphold operational integrity. Starting with Airbus, they have consistently maintained strong quality control and a well integrated supply chain. And this proactive approach has helped them avoid crises like Boeing 737 MAX situation. Lockheed Martin, while more defense oriented, excels in establishing risk sharing partnerships. Their emphasis on long term reliability and accountability across stakeholders position them as a trusted player in aerospace. Now, comparing this to Boeing, we can see some significant gaps. Boeing's approach has been more reactive and responding Responding to issues after they arise rather than preventing them, weak internal controls, and delayed corrective actions, especially around the MCES systems. Let's trade. This comparison highlights while Boeing has a global need serious restrictions to compete at the same level of resilience and trust at its peers. And next slide explain why my next colleague, Unes Ibrahim.
Thank you, Rizwan. My name is Yunus Ibrahim. Here I'm gonna speak about solutions, safety improvements. To address Boeing's challenges, several key solutions can be implemented to improve both safety and supply chain management. First, we will focus on enhancing safety and quality. Creating cross-functional quality assurance teams will help ensure that safety is prioritized at every stage of production. Increasing the frequency of internal and third-party safety audits will further improve accountability and compliance. Using AI-driven predictive defect detection can catch potential issues early, reducing the risk of major failures. Additionally, reaffirming Boeing's commitment to a safety first culture both internally and publicly will restore trust and build long term credibility. Moving to the next slide, here I'm gonna speak about solutions, supply chain improvements. In terms of supply chain, Boeing should diversify its supply base to reduce dependence on a few key suppliers, which will help mitigate risk like shortages and delays. Investing in digital tools such as SAP or Oracle SCM will provide a better visibility, real-time tracking, and improved coordination with suppliers. Establishing long-term contracts that will include performance incentives will ensure suppliers maintain high quality standards. And moving to the next slide, here I'm going to speak about the leadership reforms and financial recovery plan. To restore Boeing's stability, we need to focus on both leadership and financial recovery. First, regarding leadership and management reforms, it's essential to transition to engineering focused leadership that prioritizes safety and quality over cost cutting. This shift will help address Boeing's cultural issues. We should also appoint a chief safety officer with direct authority at the board level, ensuring that safety remains at the forefront of decision making. And moving to the next slide, here I'm gonna speak about the implementation timeline. As we move forward with these strategies, it's crucial to establish a clear timeline for their execution. In the short term, 0 to 6 months, our primary focus will be on crisis containment, conducting safety reviews, and initiating leadership changes to restore confidence within the organization. And for the medium term, 6 to 18 months, we will focus on supply chain improvements and investor outreach. These efforts will help stabilize operations. In the long term, 18 plus, we will focus on cultural overhaul and work toward regaining market leadership. And moving to the next slide, here I'm going to speak about risk and mitigation plan. Every recovery plan comes with the inherent risk, and it's important to be prepared for these challenges. Supplier resistance. One risk is resistance from suppliers, especially with the changes in contracts and expectations. Employee pushback. Change within the company could lead to resistance from employees. This can be addressed through comprehensive change in market. Public skepticism. Given Boeing's recent issues, public trust is a significant challenge. I'm moving to the next slide, conclusion. Boeing's current crisis is not just a single issue, but a combination of multiple failures in safety, supply chain, and management. The 737 MAX crashes, coupled with the supply chain disruptions, have deeply affected Boeing's operations and public image. Management missteps such as prioritizing cost and speed over safety also played a significant role in this crisis. However, the road to recovery is possible. And moving to the next slide, here we can see the recommendations, immediate action, medium-term strategy, long-term goal, and yes, this was all about our presentation. Here we can see the references. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.